Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on streaming cloud identity through privilege access management controls. I am Bimal Puri, Vice President IT and Automation SRF. I am also MC member for CIOKlub as Treasurer for Delhi NCR. And as you all are aware that CIOKlub has taken a lot of initiative in passing on the knowledge to the fellow CIOs pan India and even in overseas now. So to continue the same journey today, we are also having another session to look at a new angle to the security aspect. And before getting into the session, I would like you to have a look at a video which will give you insights about the CIOKlub and about the activities are being done. So I request Vidisha ma'am to just play a video.
CIOKlub is an initiative of CIO Association, an association of CIOs by CIOs and for CIOs. CIOs of Indian enterprises has formed the CIOKlub, registered as the CIO Association. CIOKlub is a non-profit and the largest association of chief information officers in India. It is registered under the Indian Societies Act. CIOKlub was formed in 2008, and from one chapter in 2008, CIOKlub has now grown to 10 chapters over the years. We now have chapters in Mumbai, Delhi NCR, Chennai, Bangalore, Pune, Coimbatore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Kerala, and Ahmedabad. From a humble beginning of 30 CIOs in Mumbai, it has now grown to more than 1,800 plus members across the country. CIOKlub is governed by a governing body and the chapter managing committees which drive the CIOKlub objectives nationally. Our technology partners leverage this strong platform to showcase their products and services to the CIOs. The key objectives of the club are to share experience, enhance knowledge, and explore better business solutions by leveraging the collective wisdom of a large number of CIOs who are registered members. The primary objective is to drive the business benefit to the organizations of the member CIOs and also help CIOs in their professional growth as effective leaders. The club also encourages entrepreneurial spirit by providing a platform for sharing and generating innovative ideas in the larger interest of the community. CIOs from every industrial domain indulge in this endeavor for the evolution of the IT community. Today, CIOKlub is poised to scale up in terms of location spread, breadth of membership, and building new alliances to bring international best practices within the reach of the community. International club relationships are being built. One such initiative is CIONet. Members of CIOKlub get free access to a wealth of knowledge and opportunities to network and mark their presence in the international community of CIOs. More emphasis is being led on knowledge sharing, and also avenues of spreading this knowledge to other members of the IT departments are being set up. CIOKlub is actively working with industry bodies such as NASSCOM, CII, ASSOCHAM to ensure that the CIO community has a voice in such forums. We have also constituted special interest groups on IT security and digital transformation to strengthen knowledge and experience sharing in these two critical areas of information technology. We are working towards a welfare program and executive education program for CIOs, and it will be launched shortly for all the members of the CIOKlub. So, join the CIOKlub and start learning, sharing, and caring. For more details, visit us on CIOKlub.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Thank you, Vidisha ma'am, for sharing insights about the CIOKlub. So, friends, today, let me just tell you how we are structuring this webinar. We'll be starting with a session on the subject and followed by Q&A. And also we'll be having a very interesting session led by Mr. Basant on quiz, basically Kahoot, through Kahoot. So be ready with your applications. And for the first time, with the help of Mr. Manoj, we are also going live on YouTube for the first time as a session. So please watch there also. And before starting the session, let me just give you a small introduction. What we are going to do today is basically, idea is that privileged identities represent one of the India's largest security vulnerabilities. Any organization faces today the same challenges. Bad actors can exploit users, groups, roles with privileged access within cloud to take over IT infrastructure, disrupt services, and steal confidential business data and customer information. So CyberArk Privileged Access Manager is the industry most complete solution that helps IT and security organization efficiently manage privileged user account credentials, proactively monitor and control privileged account activity, intelligently identify suspicious actions, and quickly respond to the threats. And additionally, if we see the major challenge is that we have multiple systems. So how to ensure the identity sanctity across various platforms, various systems. So how we ensure that we use multiple systems. So I welcome Mr. Sumit Srivastava, who is a solution engineering manager at CyberArk. He heads the solutions and pre-sales for India and SAARC region, leveraging his 23 years of rich experience of several customer environments as well as understanding of the internal IT in enterprise landscape. Sumit is now helping customers secure their privileged access through CyberArk solution. So over to you, Sumit, and welcome to the session. And please take us through the insights of the subject of the webinar. Welcome, Sumit.
Thanks, Bimal, and thanks to CIOKlub for having me here today for this session. I need to share, Videsh, I think if you can allow me to share my screen. Okay, I can share my screen.
So you have the host rights.
Yes, sure. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, your screen is visible. Please go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Sure. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this session where we are going to learn how you can secure the crown jewels in your cloud environment. And these crown jewels are nothing but the privileged access in the cloud environment of your organization. So we know that a lot of organizations, and I'm sure many of you would have already started on this digital transformation journey. So this digitalization of business was already a top trend. So it has been there for almost a decade now. But with the crisis that came up last year, and which led to shutting down of so many non-digital businesses, it became an existential mandate. Now, it was imperative that the CIOs started looking at moving to cloud, moving onto their digital transformation journey, right? And the rapid adoption of cloud applications and infrastructure already had an unstoppable inertia because of this. And there is data to show that this acceleration became tenfold in 2020. And as per Gartner, over 70% of the organizations using cloud services today plan to increase their cloud spending in the wake of disruption that was caused by COVID-19. So the cloud journey is there to stay, and it's going to go on and on. And there's going to be more movement to cloud from on-prem. And this, what it leads to a changing nature of privilege. So in the on-prem world, there was a clear demarcation between privileges and the standard access. But it's not there anymore in the cloud. And with the remote workforce, with the identity management, IDaaS and SaaS, any person can be highly privileged, representing a potential pathway for the attacker to exploit. And the case of Twitter is a great example of that, right? So that's the reason why many organizations have chosen to go onto the path of zero trust. So here they do not want to trust a user who has a password with him, because this password could be stolen. So what they want to do, the CIOs are wanting to have a zero trust solution in place where a user has to authenticate himself. They have to verify their identity. They have to validate the device they are using, and we have to limit the access to what they need. And with the digital transformation initiatives and technology advancement, there has been a rapid adoption of cloud technologies, which has resulted in which has resulted in as per this independent survey, and which gives an insight about adoption of cloud platforms across organizations. So AWS alone witnessed a spike in their market share, and we see that Azure and Google are not very far behind from them. And in fact, there are other players like IBM, Oracle, they are also picking up fast. And they are doing so not only in the Western world, but also in India. So we see that Google has come up very strongly in the Indian market. And while service delivery platforms are changing from on-prem to cloud, this actually doesn't change much the way the attackers follow their tactics. So the hacker has a usual way of attacking the target by looking at the, trying to get the key credentials, and that remains the same. So irrespective of movement from on-prem to cloud. So this risk not only remains the same as on-prem, it in fact has become much more pervasive. These days, the attackers just need a single cloud console key to take control of all the assets in the cloud environment. Some global realities which many of us are aware of is that close to 60 million, I think 57 million users and driver profiles that were compromised because the Uber development team left their AWS access key in the GitHub repository. And we are also aware of the OneLogin case. OneLogin witnessed an impact on their stolen AWS keys as well. And the impact was so pervasive that the attacker got access to their complete data center. So these are the real incidents. And these are not one-off incidents. These are just happening every day. And they are not going to stop. In fact, the attack on the cloud is going to go on increasing. And it requires action from each of you to secure your organizations against such attacks. Now, here's some more statistical backing as to why it's mission critical to tackle excessive cloud permissions. Firstly, 19% of all malicious data breaches in the IBM cost of data breach report involved misconfigured cloud servers. That's tied with stolen credentials for the #1 threat vector. Attackers know that excessive permissions are a vulnerability and they are zeroing in onto it. Now, any identity and access management permission represents a potential pathway for attackers. In essence, all permissions are like switches that can be flipped for any identity to access resources. So if we see, there are over 15,000 permissions across AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So like around 7,500 for AWS, 5,000 plus for Azure, and 3,000 plus for Google. So as based upon the maturity level where they are, right? And so these are like just like switches. I can flip them on off to give the access. And also what we see, like the data breaches from cloud misconfigurations cost around 4.4 million. on an average, which is $500,000 more expensive than the average breach on-prem. And cloud security teams identify this as a top challenge. ESG Research surveyed over 375 cloud security experts, and they found they ranked over permission identities as the most common cloud service misconfiguration. So let's speak about the expansion of privileges as we move from on-prem to cloud. So until several years ago, mostly IT admins were considered as privileged users. The server administrators, network administrators, DBAs. But in today's environment, almost any identity can be privileged under certain conditions.
So, Sumit,
Yeah.
Just a question on this is that like industry has already embarked its journey to the cloud, right?
Right.
But still, a lot of systems will be on-prem, correct? And so,
Sure.
if we have a hybrid kind of environment, do we need to go for a two separate PAM solution to secure our environment?
That's a very good question. I think yeah. So here with CyberArk, we have our solution. We have a single solution. So we have a solution available on-prem as well as on SaaS, and you can choose either of these solution to secure your environment both on-prem and cloud. And in fact, multi-cloud. So for your hybrid environment, you can go for a single solution, and that will take care of all your infrastructure and applications. Sure. Thanks for asking that question.
Yeah.
So talking about these privileged users, so it can be a developer or a DevOps engineer, as we see. So we saw that the admin is the traditional one. They can be DevOps engineer or a developer who can have privileged access. It can be the CI/CD pipeline. You know, they work on the secure code or DevOps pipeline and tools that can easily impact the organization production environment. And that's the reason they represent high risk. It can be application or RPA, the robotic process automation workflows that need high privileges in order to access corporate resources to perform its task. They can be third-party vendors. So say I have an issue with my Cisco router, and the team over here that's working in my organization, including the partner resources, they are not able to fix it. And then the partner says that they have an expert sitting in another part of the world, say in UK, and they want to get him to fix that issue remotely. So providing the access to them, like if I just share my screen and I step out, then there is a threat that what changes he might do. So that's where having a controlled access and provide and also monitoring and control in place secures this third-party access as well. And it can also be a workforce team member that has access to financial system. So a finance personnel for financial system and HR person for HR system. So they are all privileged users for their respective system. So it's not only limited to the IT administrators anymore. So all these types of privileged access represent a high risk to the organization and therefore require high level of security controls. So what we see is that privilege is now everywhere, and so are the risks associated with it. Now, the privileged access is a type of administrative access to critical computer systems. And a privileged user is any user that has the capability to change, alter, or impact the operational service of a business process. So in any organization, this includes not only system administrators, as we saw, but extends to all the type of these users. So the different personas that we've seen, right? And it is not only the external attacker as we think of that, okay, somebody is going to send a phishing attack through an attachment on email, but there can be a malicious insider, an employee who is on his way out, maybe his last day of the notice period, and he wants to take some sort of revenge on the manager and can cause harm. So he may be a domain administrator or a Windows admin or a Unix admin, and So he may cause some harm while he as a malicious insider, right? So we need to take care of all these personas. So any identity can become privileged under certain conditions, right?
So, Sumit, I have another question linked to what you're talking is that, like we store a lot of application credential on the cloud. Okay, and I mean the real data and everything is fine, but application also need a security.
Right.
So, do we really need a PAM solution to secure my application on cloud?
Yeah, definitely. That's a very valid question. So I know some of the customers, they have asked me this question, that they store the password in the key store of the cloud provider like AWS or Azure. So do they really have to worry about it? So the answer is yes. The cloud provider, they provide a store where the passwords can be kept, but they do not provide a way for attackers not to get to those key stores, or a way to rotate the credentials automatically. So we need to secure those credentials, and they can be static applications which are running on servers or VMs, as well as the applications which are running in a container, a containerized application, and both of them need to be secured by removing the hard-coded credentials from them and locking them down into a vault and rotating the passwords automatically. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So moving ahead. Yeah, please. Any further question, or shall we move ahead?
Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So moving ahead. So here is what I would like to stress upon: the need at the minimum, which you should act on securing access with all major public cloud providers. That is securing root accounts, individual identity accounts, accessing cloud consoles, securing the CLI-based access. And these are very important because these are among the first which attackers try to gain control of. So in any of the cloud environment, we need to secure all of these. Now you can see that such security events in CyberArk with a mail notification to CyberArk administrator. So we provide an easy to see the notification. So such security events can be seen easily. And you can also onboard such accounts immediately in CyberArk, and not only onboard them, but also configure to automatically, through onboarding rules, to deal with such eventualities. So we can onboard those, we can rotate the credentials, so we can manage these privileged access automatically through CyberArk. And there are many more such controls and preventive techniques that are available with CyberArk. And for more details, like, we can connect separately on this. And this is how the alerts would be there. So we can see that what is the suspicious activity that has taken place in a session. We can go to it, drill down, and take action. So in continuation with detection and alerting, now let's deep dive a bit on CyberArk's detection capabilities, which is one of the many capabilities that are available. So firstly, you can detect unmanaged keys, IAM accounts, compromise IAM accounts. You can even do EC2 accounts. And not only this, CyberArk recommends actions that need to be taken, right? There are associated real benefits of such detection and alerting capabilities. You can get visibility of the privileges and associated high-risk activities which are there. And the recommendations-driven mechanism, so that are there, that help you quickly remediate such security events. So you can mitigate the risk easily with this. And CyberArk is very much committed towards bringing more and more value in order for our customers to deal with such cases that are there. So now let's take a quick look at a video where we demonstrate how you can onboard AWS console in CyberArk and secure the access of user through CyberArk Jump Server, which we call Privilege Session Manager. And why this jump server is important? Because it provides session isolation. Now, there is no direct connection between the AWS console and the user machine. It will go through this jump machine, and a session will get initiated from the user machine to the jump host, and from jump host to the target device or AWS console. So this prevents any malware from going from the end user machine onto your EC2 instances or cloud servers. And on the other hand, the password is picked up by this jump host from the vault and injected into the target device. So it doesn't reach the end user machine where the hacker is waiting for the password to send it to the command control. Right. So let's look at this video. So this is the user is logging in using the AD, ID, and password. Once they are logged in to CyberArk, they get to see this CyberArk portal page. The user can search for the AWS console, provide a reason why the user wants to access the console. Now, this is where the remote session is getting established, and this session is being recorded. We see at the right bottom corner. Now, this user is an admin, but then we have given him controlled access. So he's not been given access to the S3 bucket. Now, what this ensures that the person cannot copy, cannot modify, edit, delete the storage, the S3 bucket in AWS. So what we just saw is that the AWS console privilege account is onboarded onto CyberArk, and an LDAP user, John, just logged on to CyberArk web console, and he searched for the AWS console, clicked on the connect button to connect to the console without having to see the password. He did not need the password. So the concept is that in order for the attacker to attack a target cloud console account, it is not necessary for him to know the password for the cloud console accounts. And moreover, since he doesn't know the password for cloud console accounts, it is not possible for him to bypass CyberArk and connect. So that is the thing. So the password is not being shown, and the attacker, if he even tries to get to it, he will not be able to get the password because it is locked down in CyberArk. And they cannot connect to the console through any other channel because CyberArk knows the password, and it's not available anywhere else. So that's where we have covered our privilege access management solution, which is securing the cloud console as well as the cloud environment, the infrastructure, the applications. Now we'll quickly talk about a new offering from CyberArk, which we've recently come up. Our R&D team has developed it in-house. So it was a 2-year effort that we put in to build this new tool and known as Cloud Entitlements Manager. And this tool is used to manage the permissions which are there in the cloud environment, in a multi-cloud environment. And why is it important? So let's talk about how a scenario of how the attacker works in a cloud environment. So we know that configuring permissions is a top challenge for security teams, and this makes them a top target for attackers. So let's look at this new attack pathway using a real world example from a recent breach that caused a big, big dent to a US financial institution. So how did the attackers work? So first of all, the attackers exploited a vulnerability and entered the financial institution's AWS environment and connected to a virtual machine instance. So they connected to this EC2 instance, right? In this case, it was a misconfigured firewall that they took advantage of. But it could very well be compromising a legitimate user's credentials. So I may be a legitimate user, but my credentials are stolen. I may be a part of a phishing attack, or it can be an insider threat that we spoke about, a malicious insider who is already inside the organization. They already have access and they can use it for causing harm. So they can then execute the commands. So what the attackers do, so the attackers assume the role of the firewall that has been misconfigured with excessive permission. So that's what the attacker did. And then they executed the commands that they weren't supposed to have permissions to run in this case. So what they executed the list bucket, the list bucket command that was not necessarily that wasn't necessary, and a sync bucket command that violated the least privilege. So what they did, they actually created their own bucket in AWS, and they copied the data from this one. So essentially the attackers use this role to access data stores and stole identifying information on over 100 customers, and then they posted them publicly to GitHub. So not only this, in other cases, attackers could exploit excessive permission to shut down critical infrastructure or serverless functions which are there in the cloud. They can disrupt cloud-hosted applications. They can exploit computer resources to launch crypto mining. So the critical step is the excessive permission that allows unnecessary privilege access for the compromised identity. And this is the exact challenge that Cloud Entitlements Manager is built to solve. The solution identifies unused and risky permissions for cloud identities that could be exploited by attackers and remediates them with AI-generated policy corrections. So it not only identifies but remediates also, and it provides a simple way of remediation. So it generates a script which you can execute in the respective cloud environment and remediate it. So least privilege is at the heart of the solution. Cloud Entitlements Manager uses AI to generate granular IAM policies that remove only excessive permissions. So they do not remove all permissions, but only excessive permissions, so that all necessary and valid access is preserved for that user. And from a single centralized dashboard, Cloud Entitlements Manager provides interactive visibility and control across AWS, Azure, GCP, and Kubernetes clusters. So here we see that there are multiple cloud environments that are shown in a single window, and this is all drilled down. So I can click on AWS, I can go keep drilling down to see what are the vulnerabilities in this, what are the excessive permissions, and then I can resolve those as well, remediate all of those. So the solution uses AI to analyze thousands of logs and identity which permissions are being used, and which can be safely removed to protect against internal and external threats. And cloud security teams can then model their exposure level at the identity environment or platform level, right? And they can identify the greatest sources of risk for the organization through this dashboard.
So just a question here, like you have talked about multi-cloud environment here, if I'm correct. So like if you have a multi-cloud environment, can we get a free trial for all these environments?
Yes. So definitely. So you actually stolen the thunder. I'll be coming to the trial as well. So yeah. So definitely, yeah. You can do that. So I'll be coming to the free trial.
Fine.
And it is available. Yeah.
Carry on.
So yeah. So what we've seen that the Cloud Entitlements Manager provides an actionable recommendation for how you can quickly reduce the risk, as well as immediately deploy an IAM policy script that remediates the risky permissions for your cloud environment. So if we go back to that same attack chain that we saw in the previous slide, let's now look at how Cloud Entitlements Manager can defend against the internal and external threat vectors of excessive permission. So first, the solution can detect and identify the excessive permission that we spoke about in the previous slide. Second, the solution can generate the code for a new, safer IAM policy based on least privilege that removes the excessive permission. Third, we can apply that new policy to implement least privilege and proactively defend. And lastly, we can block additional attacks by removing additional IAM policies that are in place that give excessive access to the same resources or to other resources for the same identity. So here at number 4, we are blocking that access. So Cloud Entitlements Manager is available as a simple and easy to use free trial. And users can sign up and connect their cloud accounts in under 5 minutes, in fact. And within an hour, you can utilize the AI-powered recommendations specific to your unique environments. And the solution requires no existing CyberArk licenses, no professional services, no expertise to set up, and there's zero footprint in your cloud environment. So all the capabilities are available, allowing you to centralize the visibility and control. So what you can do, you can analyze granted permissions, identify unused and excessive permissions, model exposure level, provide actionable recommendations through this, as well as it will provide deployable remediation. Okay. So, and you can go for it today itself. So yeah, so the question is why CyberArk, right? There are so many PAM solutions, and so why CyberArk? So CyberArk can be a trusted partner to take care of the challenges in the cloud. And the issue of excessive permissions is fundamentally an issue of least privilege access. So it is a problem best solved at the identity level. And for that, you can trust CyberArk above anyone else. CyberArk provides a rapid, simple, consistent solution for all cloud identities. It's an easy to use, powerful solution that provides unprecedented time to value and doesn't require any footprint in your cloud estate. And from the experts, over 6,000 customers trust to implement least privilege access their endpoints. So, you know, we have implemented the least privilege across their endpoints, across their servers, cloud workloads, applications, and not just regular environments, even in very, very complex environments. And the reason why we have been able to do it so well is that innovation is in our DNA. So we are 2-decade-old company. We invented this privilege access management space way back in '99 when we came up with the digital vault. But then we have not stopped acting as a startup. We are still like a startup. We keep innovating. We keep coming up with new product every year or two, and we keep improving our product. So we come up with a new version of CyberArk products every 2 to 3 months. So that's a kind of fast pace that we bring to the security world. And we pride ourselves at CyberArk on staying close to our customers and their evolving needs. One thing that I would like to say is that through this innovation in our DNA, we have 83 patents and non-stop organic development that along with a track record of successful acquisitions. And so if you can see that there are multiple products that we've been coming up And yeah, we are the leaders in this space, number one, over 6,600 customers globally, and more than half of the Fortune 500 customers have chosen CyberArk.
Sumit, I have a question here.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of vendor resources, they get logged into our systems, right? So do
Sure.
your system provide some kind of security around it or monitoring around when people connect on VPN? Can we monitor it?
Sure. So when somebody connects on VPN, not really that, but yeah. So we provide a secured way of accessing CyberArk through a zero trust based remote vendor access solution. So it is a replacement for a VPN. So it's not a VPN replacement for other areas, but only for accessing CyberArk, and through CyberArk accessing your target devices. So yes, there should we have an offering, and this is so when you go for CyberArk Privilege Access Manager, so there is the option of going for zero trust remote vendor solution as well. And we also have a multi-factor authentication that comes along with it. So apart from remote vendor solution, there's a MFA solution also that comes along with our privilege access manager solution. Yeah.
Thank you, Sumit. Carry on.
Thank you. And it's not just the BFSI segment that has chosen CyberArk. So from the perspective of segment-wise coverage, I'm really pleased to inform you that top customers in most of the segments, most of the verticals are with us. And while 23 of the top 25 banks have chosen CyberArk, it's across all verticals, almost 80%, the top 80% have gone for CyberArk. And with these top customers, we actually understood the kind of use cases customers want to implement in order to improve the security posture around privilege accounts. Accordingly, our R&D team strives towards bringing in more and more features and functionality to our solutions. And this focus is quite evident on the analyst reports like Gartner, KuppingerCole, Forrester, and in fact, sharing the report from Gartner. So the industry analyst community also continues to recognize CyberArk's leadership. And as you can see from this recent Gartner Magic Quadrant report released in August 2020, we are routinely positioned very favorable in analyst reports. And here in Gartner, we have been named a leader in the report, and not only on the completeness of vision, but also on the ability to execute. And if we see, we are right there, and the competition is far, far behind. Sure. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. And the customers, you can get started today leveraging CyberArk's capabilities to secure infrastructure and operations, workforce, digital workspace, and automation and code. So, you can applications, DevOps environment, all of those. And CyberArk keeps you safe by delivering a security-first approach that is AI-powered and delivers a frictionless user experience everywhere. So we are not just focused on security, but we are focused on usability aspect as well. And we provide this frictionless user experience everywhere, whether it is on-prem, cloud, or a hybrid environment. And why is it so important? And why is something that only CyberArk can deliver? Because in today's mobile, digital, cloud world, all identities become privileged under certain conditions. And CyberArk's least privilege approach enables users with just the right level of access at just the right time.
Thank you so much, Sumit, for all the insights. It was really informative session. And I believe that industry will get benefit out of your solutions. And I think we have to move to the next round, which is a Q&A round, and I could see some questions live coming on my screen. One, Mr. Ajit is asking, do you have any case study for auto component manufacturing company?
Okay, so we do have customers in the manufacturing space. And I think auto component manufacturing should be very similar to one of these manufacturing companies. And we have auto companies also as our customers.
Okay, good. So I hope Ajit might have got the answer. So Mr. Sanjay Verma has got a question that on which pharma industry solution is implemented. I mean, it can be pharma or a life science industry.
Yes, so we have multiple customers now. Because of the NDA, I cannot share those names, but yeah, if we connect separately, I can talk about, and I can check with the customers where I can share the names. So I'll have to check with my marketing team where the customers have allowed us to share the names, and only then I'll be able to do that. But yes, we have it across industry. We have in the pharma space as well.
Yeah. So Sanjay need to connect you offline. So
Hospitals are there, pharma is there, yes.
Okay, and Mr. Nagendra Singh also have a question that do you have any present customer in government / PSU?
Yes, we do. We do have government customers and we do have government customers in India also. So there are banks, there are PSU in the oil and gas segment, and yeah, and there are the government bodies directly as well. So yeah, just can't take the name, but yes, we do have. So in Delhi, there are customers.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sumit, for all the answers. I think we have another exciting thing about to start. That is a Kahoot questions where people can get a chance to win exciting things. So I request Basant to take over for the Kahoot. Basant, can you come on board?
Yeah. So so thanks Bimal, and thanks everyone for such an interactive session, such good questions. It was a pleasure taking presenting today.
Thank you so much, Sumit. It's all our pleasure.
Thank you, Vimal. Thank you, Sumit. Wonderful session. So I'm going to share my screen now for Kahoot. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Basant, it's visible.
So here is the pin 29 2966086, and the rules are simple. Put your initials. For example, if you're Bimal Puri, you can put BP and then mobile number. So Sanjit Dada, I request you to enter your mobile number. It will help.
But you have taken a wrong name. I can't play Basant,
So we have so far 13 participants. We are waiting for more. We have 18 participants. We will wait for 30 seconds more and then we will start. I think one participant has gone. Please join back. Sanjay, you can put your mobile number. It will help. You can go out and can join again. Again, the Kahoot quiz, you can run it on your mobile phone. You can also visit a website called kahoot.it. No need to download the app. Simply go to the web and put the kahoot.it and you will be able to see the question options which you can select, and you can also mention what is your correct answer, and that answer will be recorded. So we are moving ahead with the questions now. You can still join. The quiz code is 2966086. You enter this pin and then you are very much in the quiz. Starting with the first question. Securing identity in the cloud is the session which we have attended. The first question is public cloud adoption is the highest for AWS, Azure, GCP, IAM. You have seen the slides. The answer was there in the slide itself. So you can join them. Yeah, the correct answer is AWS. And most of the people knows it. Moving to the next question. So here are the top scorers, SKS, AN, NS. Which of the following credential manages access to your cloud management layer? Is it server administration, username, password, SAML token, host keys, or access keys? What is the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer is access keys. If you have seen the slides, it was mentioned in there. There is some change. AN has come to the top. Then we have new entry of ARI. And let's see whether they retain the top position or not. So there is the third question. Security considerations for digital transformation towards cloud platforms. Whether you wanted to consider compliance with the rules and regulation, integrity of data, loss of data, or all of these. So the answer is very, very easy. Yes, you all know that all these components are important for security consideration for digital transformation. Let's see. AN is holding the position. We have AP who has answered all three questions correct and has now come to the position number 3. YD is the new entrant. Cloud security refers to what? Deployment controls, a broad set of policies and technologies, or all of the above? This is also a very easy question. Now you know that all of the above is always correct answer. Okay, so let's see. YD has come to third position. Well done, YD. We are moving to the next question, which is reaching the middle stone of this quiz. The average cost of a cloud misconfiguration data breach is $3.4 million, $2.4 million, $4.4, or $5.4. This was also mentioned in the session. And 11 of you has seen the slide. Yes, it is $4.4 million. Moving to the next. We have AP as the second, SG as the third. ARI is still there in the podium. Moving to the next question, 6th of 10. It identifies unused and risky permissions for cloud identities and remediates them with AI-based policy? Is it a privilege access management, or endpoint privilege manager, or blueprint, or cloud entitlement manager? Is it privilege access management, endpoint, blueprint, or cloud? Yes, the answer is cloud entitlement manager. Let's see who is holding the position now. AN is holding the position. YD has again come back the second, and PKS third. VK is fourth. Moving to the next one. All cloud entitlements manager capabilities are available through a 30-day paid trial, 90-day free trial, 30-day free trial, 90-day paid trial. This was also explained in the slide and also covered by Sumit. To start, you can go ahead with 30-day free trial. That's true. So AN is holding position and has got good lead also. PKS and VK are following. 8th question. Is on-premise infrastructure more secure than the cloud? True or false? Whether cloud is more secure or infrastructure which is there on your premise is more secure. What do you feel? Is it true or false? It is false, and most of them agrees that the vulnerabilities are there on the infrastructure which is hosted on premise also. And we have AN on the top, PKS and CR following. Let's move to the second last question. CyberArk global customer base is of, so this was there in the slide. Is it 6,600 plus, 4,000 plus, 5,600 plus, 6,000 plus? This number was shown in one of the slides, if you remember it. They talked about what are the number of customers they have worldwide. Yeah, it is 6,600 plus, which is the correct answer. Let's see. AN is retaining the position. ARI has come to the second one. PKS is trailing. Now this is the last opportunity to move to the top 5 position. Which of the following is a key question when assessing a cloud security risk? What is the data classification of the asset? What if employee of our cloud provider assess the asset? Which business unit is the data custodian of the asset? What is the disaster recovery plan of our cloud provider? So which is the following is the key question? Yes, this is the key question. What will happen if the cloud provider employee access your asset? That is a breach to your data, and that is the key question one should ask, because your data is precious. So there shouldn't be any access of your information, your cloud setup to the cloud service provider. And let's see the winner. PKS at third, ARI on second, and guess what? AN is on top position. So congratulations to the winners. We have 2 runners up also. So all the very best, and over to you, Mr. Bimal Puri.
Thank you so much, Basant, and congratulations to all the winners. And I hope that session was informative and we could learn from Sumit the offerings which CyberArk provides. And hopefully we will be looking forward more interactive sessions on the subject. And all the best for the upcoming festival. I hope you are safe and wish you a very happy Holi. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining.